Seth Rollins on the verge of a betrayal in WWE. A recent exclusive from Sportskeeda has intensified buzz within the WWE universe, as veteran wrestling journalist Bill Apter predicts that Bron Breakker could be on the verge of betraying Seth Rollins. Apter emphasized that Breakker seems to be looking to break out on his own, signaling that the second-generation star may be ready to step out of Rollins' shadow and carve his own path to the top. According to Apter, WWE could be strategically grooming Breakker for a marquee role on the grandest stage of them all, possibly a featured spot at WrestleMania. This speculation gains further credibility through TJR Wrestling, which has reported potential instability brewing within Rollins' faction, The Vision. Currently led by Rollins and managed by Paul Heyman, the group also features Bron Breakker and powerhouse Bronson Reed. However, the chemistry that once made the faction dominant may now be fracturing, with analysts drawing parallels to the timeless wrestling storyline in which a trusted enforcer turns against their leader, sparking internal warfare. The intrigue doesn't end there. Newsweek has suggested that WWE might be deliberately setting the stage for a dramatic faction implosion, one that could also introduce The Rock into a pivotal role. This development would not only shake up the Vision, but also impact WWE's larger storytelling landscape. In a bolder theory, cynicaltimes.org proposes that Breakker and Reed could align themselves with The Rock, effectively removing Rollins from his position of power and paving the way for a long-anticipated showdown between Roman Reigns and The Rock. Such a storyline could serve as a multi-layered narrative, blending betrayal, shifting alliances, and generational rivalry, while simultaneously elevating Breakker into the main event spotlight. Taken together, these reports and theories paint a picture of a WWE main event scene on the cusp of major transformation. If the seeds of betrayal do take root, the fallout could alter the company's top-tier rivalries for years to come. Fans are already bracing for the emotional and dramatic twists that would come from seeing Rollins, once the master manipulator, become the target of his own faction's rebellion. Whether this plays out in the near future or builds over several months, the potential for explosive storytelling is undeniable, and the outcome could be one of WWE's most talked-about betrayals in recent history. Vince McMahon upset after being omitted by WWE. Following the passing of Hulk Hogan on July 24, 2025, WWE honored the legendary wrestler with a series of on-air tributes, including a traditional 10-bell salute, video packages, and personal testimonials from current and former WWE talent. These tributes highlighted Hogan's enormous impact on the wrestling world, his larger-than-life persona, and his role in making professional wrestling a global phenomenon. However, one conspicuous omission from these commemorative efforts was Vince McMahon, Hogan's longtime business partner, close collaborator, and the man who played perhaps the most critical role in elevating Hogan from a regional draw to a household name in the 1980s. Despite their intertwined legacies and decades of professional history, McMahon was not invited to participate in any of the official WWE tributes aired across its platforms. This exclusion was not lost on McMahon, who addressed the issue during an appearance on TMZ's The Real Hulk Hogan, a special that aired in conjunction with Hogan's memorial coverage. When the host brought up the noticeable absence, McMahon didn't deflect or downplay it. Instead, he openly admitted he had also felt the omission was intentional and disappointing. His comment, "It struck me that way as well," confirmed that he perceived the decision as a deliberate slight rather than an oversight. This moment of candor stood in contrast to McMahon's usually guarded public persona, making it all the more significant. It also struck a nerve with longtime wrestling fans, who remember McMahon and Hogan as inseparable figures during WWE's formative rock and wrestling era. The disappointment was even more pronounced given that McMahon had delivered a powerful, emotionally charged eulogy at Hogan's private funeral. According to reports from Sportskeeda and others, McMahon's words at the service were so impactful that attendees, many of whom were fellow wrestlers, friends, and family, stood up and spontaneously began chanting, "Hogan! Hogan! Hogan!" in unison, honoring the man who had helped define an era. That McMahon played such a central role in that private farewell, but was entirely left out of the public tribute, reflects the broader complexities of his current status in both the wrestling industry and WWE's corporate structure. A New York Post report added further weight to McMahon's feelings, stating that he had shared his disappointment about not being included in WWE.